This is Hong Kong. In 2019, the bustling streets of Hong Kong captured global attention as massive protests erupted. The initial spark was opposition to the extradition bill, a proposal that would allow suspects to be transferred from Hong Kong to mainland China for trial. Many Hong Kong residents feared this would threaten the city's independent legal system, a cornerstone of the one country, two systems principle. However, the protests quickly grew beyond the bill itself, transforming into a broader movement demanding democratic reforms and the protection of fundamental freedoms. Protesters from diverse backgrounds, including students, workers, and civil society groups, united in their resistance against what they saw as Beijing's increasing encroachment. As the months-long protests continued, the Chinese Communist Party issued stern warnings, declaring that the disruptive activities in Hong Kong would not be tolerated. Beijing emphasized that the unrest not only threatened social stability, but also posed a direct challenge to national security. One of Beijing's significant responses was to strengthen the presence of security forces. However, instead of deploying the military, Beijing opted for a more strategic and long-term approach, introducing the National Security Law in 2020. The law was presented as a means to protect order and maintain stability, but for many in Hong Kong, it signaled a clear erosion of democratic freedoms. The law's vague provisions, such as those addressing secession and subversion, created a climate of fear among activists and civil society organizations. Hong Kong's unique status began in the 19th century after the First Opium War. Under the Treaty of Nanking in 1842, the Qing dynasty ceded the territory to Britain. At that time, Hong Kong was a modest fishing village with a sparse population. Few could have predicted it would evolve into a bustling international trade and financial center in the decades to come. Under British rule, Hong Kong was transformed into a free port with its own legal and administrative systems. Policies encouraging international trade and investment quickly propelled the city into a global financial hub, serving as a bridge between East and West. By the mid-20th century, Hong Kong had become a critical transit point for goods and a magnet for entrepreneurs and immigrants, particularly from mainland China. The year 1997 marked a pivotal moment in Hong Kong's history. After more than a century under British administration, the territory was officially handed back to China. To ensure a smooth transition and economic stability, the Sino-British Joint Declaration was signed in 1984. In it, Beijing promised Hong Kong a high degree of autonomy for 50 years under the one country, two systems framework. This arrangement allowed Hong Kong to maintain its own legal system, constitution, and distinct freedoms, such as voting rights and freedom of speech, values absent in most of mainland China. These provisions fostered a free market economy, global integration, and a relatively open political environment compared to Beijing's standards. However, autonomy did not equate to complete independence. The CCP implemented a long-term strategy to tighten its grip on the region. The democratization process, once expected to empower Hong Kong's people, progressed sluggishly and with significant limitations. Elections were held but constrained by intricate rules, allowing Beijing to influence the candidate selection process through a pro-CCP election committee. This system left Hong Kong in a liminal state, neither fully democratic nor entirely under central control. Discontent grew as citizens increasingly felt that the promises of autonomy made during the handover were being systematically undermined. Strategically positioned in the heart of East Asia and home to one of the world's busiest ports, Hong Kong serves as a vital bridge between China and the global economy. In 2023, Hong Kong's GDP reached approximately $400 billion, accounting for about 2.5% of China's total GDP. However, its financial and international impact far exceeds these numbers. Handling over 4.5 million TEUs, 20-foot equivalent units of cargo annually, Hong Kong's port plays a critical role in maintaining China's dominance in global trade. The city's independent financial system, including the freely convertible Hong Kong dollar and a corporate tax rate of just 16.5%, makes it a magnet for foreign investment. Major Chinese companies often choose Hong Kong to list their stocks, with the city's stock market boasting a total capitalization exceeding $4.6 trillion in 2023. This places Hong Kong among the top global stock exchanges. Additionally, the city facilitates 64% of cross-border investment transactions involving China, solidifying its position as an indispensable economic gateway. Hong Kong also attracted more than 50 million visitors annually before the COVID-19 pandemic, significantly bolstering its tourism and domestic consumption sectors. Other industries, such as financial services, logistics, and international trade, generate billions of dollars in revenue each year. While cities like Shanghai and Shenzhen increasingly compete with Hong Kong, the territory remains a hub for over 1,500 multinational corporations. Its unique position helps Beijing maintain economic stability and ensure the seamless flow of international capital. Since Hong Kong's return to China, signs of diminishing political freedoms have steadily emerged. At the heart of the issue lies the CCP's increasing grip on the region's political system. Initially, Hong Kong enjoyed a relatively independent electoral system and considerable freedoms. Over time, however, the CCP has progressively encroached upon this autonomy, undermining the democratic institutions of the region. A prominent example is its control over candidates running for the Legislative Council, LegCo. Pro-democracy parties are often sidelined, leaving them with little opportunity to gain representation. This has left many Hong Kongers disillusioned, feeling that their ability to choose true political representatives has been stripped away. Elections have become more symbolic than substantive, as voters find themselves unable to meaningfully express their will. Moreover, Beijing has erected significant barriers for activists and independent candidates. High-profile figures like Joshua Wong and Agnes Chow, champions of democratic causes, have faced relentless crackdowns, including arrests and disqualifications from elections. Such actions illustrate a clear intent. Beijing seeks to silence any dissent that threatens its control. This shift has been gradual yet deliberate. Democracy in Hong Kong is no longer the vibrant concept it once was. For the people of Hong Kong, the question remains: can they continue to place their trust in a system increasingly dominated by central authorities? Following Hong Kong's political upheavals, the CCP took a decisive step by enacting the National Security Law in 2020, mentioned earlier in this video. This law not only criminalized dissent, but also sent shockwaves through the freedoms Hong Kong once prided itself on. With stringent provisions, the law redefined opposition to the government as a criminal act, resulting in numerous arrests of activists such as Joshua Wong and Jimmy Lai, both iconic figures of the pro-democracy movement. This development raised an unsettling question. Is this the final blow to Hong Kong's independence in its political and social spheres? Opposition groups were disbanded, and press freedom, one of Hong Kong's most cherished liberties, began to wither. Independent newspapers and media outlets faced closures or intense government pressure, forcing them into self-censorship to avoid breaching the law. Once a hub of free journalism, Hong Kong now finds itself confronting its greatest challenge in decades. The National Security Law represents more than just legislation. It is a landmark in Beijing's systematic restructuring of Hong Kong's political landscape under tighter control. For many, it symbolizes the erasure of what once made Hong Kong unique. While the National Security Law had a profound impact, the wave of repression did not stop there. Activists in Hong Kong continue to face crackdowns, both domestically and internationally. Many have been arrested or prosecuted under new laws, and the CCP has extended its influence beyond Hong Kong's borders, reinforcing its grip on dissent worldwide. In 2024, the introduction of Article 23 marked yet another step in Beijing's strategy to tighten control over Hong Kong, claimed to be aimed at safeguarding national security. This law criminalized any activity deemed a threat to the stability of the government. Moreover, it granted Chinese law enforcement agencies the authority to conduct investigations and prosecutions without interference from Hong Kong's formerly independent judiciary. This raised significant concerns about the further erosion of free speech and the right to express dissent in Hong Kong. Dissidents now face not only the risk of domestic arrest, but also increasing political pressure on the international stage from Beijing. Hong Kong's future seems grimmer than ever as Beijing's control continues to extend beyond all previously known limits. The One Country, Two Systems framework in 1997 is set to officially expire in 2047. By then, Hong Kong will likely lose the political, social, and economic privileges it has enjoyed for over 2 decades. This could result in complete control by the CCP, with Hong Kong's independence relegated to a historical memory. Given the current trajectory, the prospects for a democratic and autonomous future in Hong Kong appear bleak. Efforts to push for political reform and freedom have been met with harsh crackdowns from the Chinese government. The relentless tightening of control and the erosion of citizens' basic rights, such as freedom of speech, press, and assembly, make the possibility of reclaiming autonomy or democracy seem increasingly distant. Protests and acts of resistance face mounting challenges as the government continues to stifle dissent, turning the dream of a free and independent Hong Kong into an ever-fading hope. Looking ahead, it is increasingly likely that Hong Kong will lose its distinct identity as a free, diverse, and open financial hub, becoming fully integrated into China's political structure. While the people of Hong Kong persist in their struggle, few expect a significant breakthrough given the current trends. Many have begun to accept that the freedoms and autonomy they once enjoyed are shrinking, and the vision of Hong Kong as it once was feels increasingly out of reach. Hong Kong, once a beacon of freedom and prosperity, is gradually losing these defining traits under the tightening control of the Chinese Communist Party. Although the struggle for freedom continues, the future of Hong Kong, especially as the One Country, Two Systems framework ends in 2047, remains an open question. Will Hong Kong regain its autonomy, or will it become fully assimilated into China? The answer to this question remains uncertain. If you found this story intriguing, don't forget to share your thoughts and subscribe to stay updated on more captivating videos.